think what I've learned at BII, since I've been here is that we don't see financial returns and the social impact as opposing forces, right? It's not one or the other, right? And that's often how we bifurcate those two, but rather we're trying to view them as integrated pieces of how we assess, right, an investment and how we manage an investment. And that's part of the integrated capital approach as well. So, I'll be very forward on the fact that, we think of our investors as taking a different kind of, or having a different kind of return profile in our, ecosystem. It's called concessionary return, right? But we need that concessionary return. There's still a return, but we need it to catalyze really high impact enterprises. So our returns are often on equity 1.5 to 3x, right? And ask yourself in venture capital, that what is enough, right? Do you have to have a 10 or 100x exit, right, for it to be successful, or is 2 or 3x enough? And then on debt, businesses that can take debt and manage debt, we don't want it to be extracted for them, right? So the more impactful a business is, the lower the interest rate, right, that we might provide on a loan. So anywhere from 3 to 7%. So we sort of like try to flip these principles of risk and return on their head, right? You would think like the riskier a business is, the higher of an interest rate we should charge them to compensate us for the financial risk. But we're saying that business may have a deeper impact return, maybe in who they're employing in their community, right? Maybe they're having, they're developing a product or service, right, that's addressing climate. So the deeper the impact that it's having, the lesser of a financial return we're willing to take in order to catalyze it. And the way we also do that, not just on the investing side, but it's also how we think of our investors. So one really unique thing that BII did in our first fund and now in our second fund is the way we raise capital, right, is debt, but it's low cost debt to us. And we have three kinds of notes. One note is really to democratize investing and to help bring ordinary people into our fund. And that's the community note. So right now in BI Fund 2, it has a 5% interest rate and it has earlier liquidity. So it's a 5-year note. But if you renew it again for 5 years, you get 7%, which today that's a pretty good rate, right? Meanwhile, those who can bear more risk, who are so-called accredited investors, have a longer term note, 10 years, either at 3% or 1%. Right. And for many of the investors that come into BII, they're already mission aligned and values aligned. They're coming in because they know they're catalyzing local investments in community, that we prioritize supporting overlooked, right, entrepreneurs, diverse entrepreneurs, but also that we're trying to seed new models of businesses. So supporting cooperatively owned or worker-owned enterprises. On the real estate side, investing in community-owned real estate models or community-governed models, land trusts, for example. And so that is the great experiment, right, that many of our investors are taking with us to say, in order to seed these innovations, we don't need that financial return. We're banking on you having the highest impact return possible.